So here we are on the first screencast in the series on the Young Urban Planners project. Now, at this point in the project, you will have been introduced to the project and what your challenge is and some of the process. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to use this spreadsheet to help conduct some of our research. So let's go ahead and open that up. And the first thing you want to be aware of is when you make a copy of this document. There we are. When you make a copy of this document, make sure that you select this cell right here, copy comments. What I've done is I've gone through and added some comments to help you guys with your research. So for instance here, anytime you see one of these dog ears up in the top corner, if you hover over that cell, it's going to give you some advice to help you complete that step. So just be aware of that. Make sure you're looking out for those dog ears. So once again, when you go to File, Make a Copy, make sure you copy those comments. Now I've already got my copy made, so let's jump right up here. Now, since I am kind of a real life example of what it means to live in one neighborhood and commute to another for work, I'm going to go ahead and use some of my own personal information. For instance, I'm a resident of Rancho Penasquito, so I'm going to use that as my example as I show you how to conduct some of this research and the formulas. Now, the research itself, that's your pretty basic internet research. You can go through and complete all those steps here. So let's jump down to our first project that requires some math. So let's show you how I got to those numbers. So I went through Zillow. I used this link right here on Zillow, and I found the most expensive unit I could find to rent. Now, that was a 2-story, 5-bedroom house for about $4,500 a month, and the cheapest being a 1-bedroom apartment for about $1,500. So if we were to find the statistical average of that, we'd use a formula. So we go right over here to this cell. I select that cell, and I hit equals, and that's me telling the spreadsheet that I want to do some math. So I'm just going to type in average. I want the average of those two numbers, the high and the low. And right when I just type in AV, you can see that it starts giving me some autofill. So I'm going to average this, and I'm just going to simply select those two cells, close that, and it gives me an average about $3,000 a month. I can do that same thing. I went through and found the most expensive house to purchase being about a little over $1 million, and the cheapest being about $270,000. So I can do the same thing. I select equals AV for average. I select average, close parentheses, and that gives me about $644,000. Now, if you actually open up Redfin, here I have it opened up here, and I've typed in Rancho Penasquitos for the neighborhood, and this is where I collected those numbers. But if you scroll down, you can actually see that it gives you some data already. So 2-bedroom homes, you can find 1 bedroom, there it is, 270, and 2 bedrooms, you can see that it goes up to about 425,000. And actually down here, it actually gives you this data right here, the median list price of $787,000. Now, my statistical average between those at $644,000 doesn't necessarily match what they put there, but I'm not sure we're necessarily on the point where we want to be splitting hairs. As long as you reference and get somewhere in that right ballpark, that right range, I think it's going to give you the right number. So you can either find it on Redfin or do that statistical calculation there like so.